Hey guys, how are you? This is Abhi from Crazy Productions. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm gonna explain what is really SaaS meant for. Uh, I'm gonna wrap it in about 15 minutes maximum. So I'm gonna consider the important topics and I'm gonna cover all these topics and now I'm gonna show you live examples as well. So to start with, what is really SaaS? Now, what does it do exactly? So SaaS is nothing but if we talk about CSS, we write a lot of code, so it is unable to maintain. If it is a big application, so it's hard to maintain the CSS code. So for that reason, we use SaaS. So, for example, in if we take an example of JavaScript, in JavaScript we use variables, we use functions to make the coding very simpler, right? So the same behavior, it applies for CSS as well. We don't have variables, we don't have functions, or we don't have if-else conditions. So for all that to make possible, so SAS is the solution we have. Okay, it's a preprocessor. The code what we write in SAS is going to be compiled. The code that we are writing in SAS is not going to be used at all, but that gonna compile to again CSS. So which is lightweight version. So again, the maintenance of this SAS is very light. Okay, so today I'm going to explain you the mainly six important topics like variables and mixins and functions, nesting and extend, and if else conditions. So if so these are the things maximum we use uh, in real time actually. So as per my experience, we use mainly these stuff a lot. Okay, so now let's start the coding of SAS now. So I have created a SAS file over here. Okay, so now I have written this code in CSS. Okay, so let's step by step by including each and every feature. Let's convert this code into SAS code. Okay, so for example, this is the color of the background. If in the future the client comes and if they ask to change the color, it's hard to change. Now it is one place. In future if it is 20 places, searching each and every place and changing the color is very difficult. For that we have variable concept. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to store these color code in a variable. Okay, the variable declaration starts with dollar. So what I'm going to do is the bg color. I'm just giving my own color code name. I'm just keeping it as the bg color, right? So this is the variable where I can use replacing this one. That's all. So it is nothing much difficult to learn. That's it. What I've done, this is called a variable. I've created a variable for it. I'm just reusing it inside a selector. Okay, well, so this is what exactly a variable mean. A variable, you can declare it, you can define a value to it, and now you can reuse in the entire application. So this is about bg color. And I'm just gonna explain the fourth point, because here we're going to use the nesting concept, because we are two times using the ul concept over here, ul li, and here ul li. So what I'm going to do is I'm just copying this style, and I'm just wrapping it up. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just nesting. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to wrap it inside here. So this applies for, so this is not required now, because so ul will take this and li will take this. So it's a short form of So rather writing ul space li, and if we have a paragraph inside this li, for example, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a paragraph for it. Okay, so if I add a paragraph to it, what will I have to do actually in CSS? I have to write something like ul space li space p, something like that, right? You know, if you want to code for li alone, I have to write something like this. So which is, you know, by Sass we can able to do it in an easy manner, something like using nesting. So as I've showed, so this is, you know, for example, if we have a p element over here, and if I want to make that color as something like green, right? So these particular element gonna be green color. So this is how really nesting works. So but if we compile the code and see, it will just, I'll just show that as well. I'm just gonna show you how as really see Sass compiler. So I'm just gonna show you how really Sass compiler works. I'm just opening, I'm just pasting here my Sass code over here. Okay, so this is what the CSS code see. So we write in this uh, Sass, and you know it converts into this CSS, right? So this is pretty much simple. So we can write as much as we can. So this is the how it converts the Sass compiler to the CSS code. Okay, this is clear, right? So let me go to the next topic. For example, um, uh, if I want to uh, use some borders for it, okay, I'm just give some borders to it, and then I'll give so borders to important features in Sass. So what that for that what really what we do, okay? So this is an h1 element, okay, h1. So I what I really do is border. For example, it might be 10 pixel border radius. Uh, Background border. The border would be 1 pixel. It's solid, something like that. Let us give hash fff. Okay, so for this we have to write so border radius is something 10 pixel we are giving. Okay, so in order to uh, so border radius we have to give the prefixes as well for the other browsers, something like if we have a WebKit browser, we have to declare it in this way, and you know we have Mozilla, you know, we have to declare in this way, and something like for Internet Explorer also MSIE is what we are going to give it. Okay, so this is how it works. So if I want to apply the same thing, what we gonna do? And you know, if I want to pass the variable as something like, you know, for this important feature, I just want only 5 pixel to give. So what I'm going to do, I'm just copying this entire thing, and I'm doing this in like this, right? So which is awkward. I 5 pixels, 5 pixels, something like which is very harder. 5 pixels, 5 pixels. Okay, I have to copy this as well. Okay, so which is hard to implement, right? So I'm just trying to create uh, a behavior, kind of I'm taking an feature of makes sense, and I'm going to explain it how this is possible. Okay, so I'm just going to create a mixin. Okay, so this mixin, the name of the mixin is something the border. So well, my mixed name is something like border radius. So it contains two parameters. One is uh, the dollar size, and if we didn't pass any dollar radius value, so it will be considered as zero. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just the border value will be this one. Okay, and this will be the border value. Right. Perfect. So this is how it will be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass the function. Okay, I'm going just going to call the function inside it. Okay, so for h3 as discussed, so my function is border radius. I'm just going to call it. I'm just going to uh, the border value will be 1 pixel and the border radius will be something like 10 pixel as I said. Okay, so for h1 how much it will be? For example, let us take this as something like 5 pixels. Okay, see the difference. Let us make it 2 pixels. Okay, so even if you want to make the color as well, so the border color, let us make it the border color as well, dollar color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just taking the border color as well. So I'm just gonna pass here as red. Okay, and here I'm gonna pass something like green. Yeah, so I just forgot to mention the default value. So I'm just giving, if nothing color is there, it just takes the white as a color. Okay, so from here I'm just passing variables, that's it. So I'm just reusing this. So it's kind of a what I can say is it's a mixing, so which we can reuse inside our selectors. Okay, the next one is something like extend. If we want to use something like something like I have a class something like font. Okay, I want to apply this font to uh, to this second element. How we were going to do it? I'm just going to extend it. Okay, so inside our UL element, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ampersand of the first child, not the first child. I'm going to take it as last child. Okay, so ampersand is nothing but it creates just a tree, and it takes the reference of that li, and on that li, if it is uh, the last element, it is going to, I'm going to extend it. Okay, I'm going to extend it with the font. Okay, so for that line alone, so what is going to happen is it is just reusing the class of font. Okay, so I'm trying to extend it to the second list item. So that's the reason. So what it applied, the font size it applied. So if I make it to 12, so it is 12 is applying over here. So this is something like we can extend the uh, classes. We can reuse the class of other selectors, and with the wherever required. So this is highly about extend. So the only concept that is left is something like if else conditions. Okay, so for example, if a client has tell that my theme, so based on the theme you have to if the theme, if a theme or something like, for example, if a theme is true, we our site contains two themes. Let us say that if b theme is false. Okay, so I'm just going to check whether the background color, I'm going to write at the rate if the a theme, then what I'm going to do is, okay, else, at the rate else, what I'm going to do, else will be something like, if it is not the theming one, I'm just going to give it as something like, so if the client asks for other background color, something like, if the background color is something like one, he just don't want this the light pink color, he just wanted something like orange. Okay, so based on the conditions, if a theme is true, then I have to make my background color as something like orange. So that time what I'm going to do is I'm just passing this background color as orange, because the a theme is true, right? So a theme is true, that's the reason we are running the background. So let us make it as something like false. Okay, so yeah, oh yeah, I just forgot to mention the variable dollar over here. Yes, so now the a theme is false, right? So based on the theme I am just picking up the colors, right? So if I make it to true again, this will be pink color. Okay, so this is how exactly the if else conditions work. So these all are highly about the SAS. We really in real time we use this, and finally I'm just going to show you how to compile this, how the SAS compiler really compiles our code into the CSS. Just have a look, I've just pasted my code here. Okay, so I've just made 50 lines of code, so it converted into 45 lines. But the managing of these code is like, if it is small amount of code, this is fine, but this is easy to maintain and this is very hard to maintain. So just to give you an idea, I'm just shared my views. If you like the video, please share it, and uh, please like it. Please give constructive comments. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Let us see in the next session. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, don't forget.